Welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors, episode 132.
Welcome to Life by Design, the podcast for chiropractors. Here's your host, Dr. Jamie Richards.
Welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors. I'm your host, Dr. Jamie Richards, and on today's episode, a special snippet, if you will, from a recent webinar that we did. Very successful. It was really solid. The feedback was incredible. And it was the 10 day one, day two secrets, and I use secrets in quotations, secrets to successful conversion or acceptance into your practice. Now, what I cover on today's episode and the piece I pulled out that was super valuable and the feedback was tremendous was on spousal invites. Now, this is an area that I think challenges people, and there's a lot of reasons why, which we talk about. Just think about this: authentic spousal invites, why they should be there, what to do if they're not going to come. Is that okay? Is that not okay? And how to manage this and handle this in your practice. You'll also see in the show notes the rest of the webinar. So you can grab a link, follow through, and you can actually see the rest of the webinar, at least for a few days, depending on when you click on this. Okay, guys? Make it a great day, and thank you for listening to Life by Design for Chiropractors, the voice of reason in chiropractic. Day 1, 2, secrets, spousal invites. When is the best time to invite the spouse? You know, I always felt like inviting the spouse in general was something that really scared me. Anybody else have that experience? You know, I heard a lot of the, really, and I don't want to name names and say anything negative about other people in my profession here, because I got some great colleagues and even ones who are in some of these other programs. But I always felt like, and it was my issue, I always felt like, it was too salesy and it was too hard. And, it was really it was a mandatory thing. And I'm going to tell you, I played around with all these things and tested them all out. And so what works for us with the spousal invite? Number one, the why is, instead of getting in my own way and thinking that I was doing something that was negative and forcing them to be there, I realized that it just made sense. It just made sense to invite the spouse or somebody else, right? Making decisions. Now, a lot of us make decisions on our own, but I love to have my wife at visits. I can make my own decisions, but I trust my wife. Sometimes 4 years are better than 2. I want to know what she thinks. And if you have your own committee, if you will, in your life, then having them involved in it, I think, is important. Now, if they are not the decision maker, that makes this even more important. And so having it as a system is helpful because it's something that you just do. It's something that you don't have to think about. It's something that's just a natural part of this. So number one, I think it's a very important thing to do. And I think that the best time to do it, a lot of people do this at the day 2, and they think, I'm going to get them back and we'll do this big heavy-handed, presentation. I want them at the day 1. If I can get them at the day 1, a lot of times we don't even need them at the day 2, because they leave the day 1 saying, wow, that made a lot of sense. And, I've had people, as I'm sure many people here do this. Yeah, just go, whatever the doctor says, that sounds good. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. And of course, they'll come back to day 2. Now, do we get new patients from this? Of course we do. Is that the purpose? No. My purpose is to educate. And I know that person is going to consume the information better if somebody else is there. It's also saving a step between the decision-making process if somebody else, exactly, Brian, they book in too. And so it's just reducing the friction between them saying yes and you accepting their case so they can get the best results. So how do we do it? Well, there's a couple places that we do it. I'm just going to give them to you. So number one, we do it on the first phone call. And at the end of the first phone call, what we found works very, very well is we'll finish all the different scripting. And then the staff will just say, great, when you come to your case review, people tend to bring somebody with them. We find that 4 years are better than 2. And this is the statement, and then you'll stop talking. Brian, is there anybody else involved in your healthcare decision-making that you would like to bring with you to this visit? Exactly. So as I stopped talking, people entered information into the chat because they were acting as if they were a patient. So number one is on the first phone call. Now, if they say yes, we write the name down. We make sure we know the information. If they say maybe, we write the name down, and we actually put a maybe. So we still book into our digital software. We still book into a book. And again, I like some paper. We won't get into that today, but we put maybe in there, because when we do the reminder call, we want to be able to say, we're going to see Brian and maybe Susan at the case review on such and such date, or we're going to see Brian and Susan on such and such date. The next time we do it is at the end of the day one post-examination. Now, whether it's the doctor or whether it's the technical coordinator, which is what we call the person who's doing the examination, they will ask again. They will say, now if they didn't come that day, then obviously they're going to ask again and say, when you come back to your review of results, we find that people tend to bring somebody with them. 4 years are better than 2. Is there anybody you would like to bring back with you to the review results who's also involved in your healthcare decision-making? My staff is trained on that. They ask that question every single time as a separate final portion of the examination. Look them in the eye, ask the questions, get a yes. If it's a yes, we take them to the front, we drop them off, we communicate to the staff. If it's a maybe, we take them in front, we drop them off, communicate to the staff. And that gets set in stone. So spousal invites, something you should do. There's a couple times to do it, and I gave you exactly what you can say. Thank you for listening to Life by Design for Chiropractors, the voice of reason in chiropractic.